warrant paying a second VPF. That's the way I would look at it and how VPF would benefit the producers. The one thing that is true for India, that we are the only country, pretty much that I think so, is giving content, production is giving content to a non-DCI platform. Out of every country in the world that at least I am aware of. Yes, it was circumstantial. I personally don't have anything against any non-DCI player or anybody in the stakeholder, people who are running their business for whatever they think is appropriate. They have all rights to do so. But what I'm saying is, I urge the producers to think long term. Yes, there will be, we are a country where has a tier 2, tier 3 market. There are different sizes of theatres where box office collections are vary from something to something completely different. But what I urge the producers, don't look at it as on a minute basis on a property to property. Take a bird's eye view, see the overall benefit that they're getting on the release, and at the end of the day when they're going to stop paying VPF, irrespective of property, the savings on the VPF will add straight to the bottom line, which is very large. Today's cost of release, depending on, of course, the box office rate, could be anywhere between 10 to 30% of the release cost. That's really covering all the benefits of the production side. Coming back to our exhibitor friends, yes, there are affordability issues. People don't have the capital to go and buy a DCI compliant projector. There comes a role for integrators like ourselves. However, at the end of the day, think of a scenario, why would you agree to rent a piece of equipment forever? I mean, do we do that with any other asset that we know of? Not in my knowledge at least. So if you have a piece of asset that you know your livelihood depends upon and you're going to use that for many, many years to come, you'd at some point of time want to own it. Rightly so. Everything is value driven because the exhibitor had a certain cost of a 35mm film which he was otherwise paying. Now there's a digital cost, there is X, this is Y, there's a cost difference, cost increase as a matter of fact, we all recognize that. But he can't be penalized to pay that rent forever. So at some point, as per the terms of the arrangement with all the stakeholders, the title of that equipment needs to belong to him, very clearly, after which he doesn't owe a buck on that piece of equipment to anybody in the world. Second being, the advent of digital, I think, has expanded the horizon of all the advertisement revenues and the possibilities that have on the digital cinema space from an exhibitor's perspective. He absolutely has all right to retain that. I don't think it's fair for him to not have that pound of flesh because on one fine day he did not have money to buy that piece of equipment. The plan that we have is that we want to consolidate all the mom and pop exhibitors, the small time tier 2, tier 3, combine them. We only act as agents, or so to say, he could pretty much go to any consolidator of advertisement who keeps a 20-30% share of the revenue that he otherwise sells and passes the bulk of that portion to the exhibitor. That's currently not today as far as the Indian industry is concerned. So look at it from his side on a holistic approach. So if he owned the equipment over a certain time, he paid rent, he got absolutely the best service that he deserves. There's no downtime on equipment, he got his content, in a timely manner, he got his KDMs, everything in a perfect world is good. He owned the equipment, he got the advertisement. Post the term, he doesn't have to pay a rent, neither does he have to pay anybody a share of the advertisement, even an agency if he desires not to. That's a prerogative that he has. Within this space, there comes an integrator like us who says, okay, in my plan that we have today, that Kriyan is unfolding, we have a set mark that we will only retain 30% of all the revenues consolidated of the ads that we are accumulated among the participating exhibitors. That ad revenue is increasing exponentially on a year-on-year basis. There are listed companies who are our exhibitor friends, PVR, Inox. The actual amount of revenue, you will be surprised, on advertisement is as high as between 35 lakhs to 45 lakhs per screen per year. That's the leverage that they have on advertisement. Of course, the tier 2, tier 3 are a lot lower, but it's still a sizable amount. So I would like to see the exhibitor retain his share, what he deserves in the business, which is why he's in the business. Coming back to integrators like ourselves, at the end of the day, we are here to make a profit. We are all here for business. But that profit can't be in perpetuity. It can't be that the BPF never expires, the ownership is always with me, and everybody else in the circle is on the receiving end except for us. We've tried to get away with that model, and no offense to anybody in the business who works like that, to each one their own really. But the way I would like to position this is, we want a profit, we are transparent on what it costs us. This is the benefit that we have after cost recoupment, overheads, and all that. And that's a number that we all agree to. It's probably a yield business, it's a debt business. It's not a business for me as an integrator to take advantage of a situation where an exhibitor can't afford the equipment. The producer, of course, wants to have the best release, save cost. It benefits everybody, but I can't be at an advantageous position and take benefit of that all my life. So we at Crean, in the plan that we have, is very clear. We have an X investment on equipment. We have a Y return which is defined. Yes, there are business risks, a number of releases, number of EPF turns, but at the end of the day, my role gets over. It stops. You know, it's back to business as usual. Everyone transitions. Digital is here to stay for life, and we are pretty much done. Beyond that, if the exhibitor chooses to work with me as an ad consolidator, as a service company selling consumables, as lamps, as filters, or whatever, those are ancillary businesses that are de facto created out of me being in the business itself. And that's a choice that the exhibitor has. So I think between the producer, exhibitor, the advertising agent, and the integrator, this is the level of equilibrium that I would like to set in the industry with my plan. And I think at the end of the day, if all stakeholders think what is in it for them and does this make sense, I think it will. I've tried to cover every aspect and looking at everyone's individual scenario in isolation, and hence Crean has come up with a plan that we think is fair to the industry and will add a lot of value. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. The speech is actually to hear such lovely things from my friend. What vision he has, what he plans for the exhibition sector to go forward, the growth for the entire fraternity, from the production sector to the distribution and exhibition sector. I think this is a path-breaking plan, and it's music to my ears because, you know, the mindset of yesterday, unfortunately, without naming people, was very regressive in our country. And here comes a person who's talking things which are so transparent about the general health, who understands that if in case the producer is healthy, so will he be as an integrator, and so will be the exhibitor, and so will be the distributor. This understanding for mutual survival, unfortunately, did not exist in our industry. That's why we were bleeding for so many years. So now, better late than never, I feel as a senior member of the Guild, being a former president of the Guild, I welcome this initiative taken by Mr. Ranjit Thakur. I applaud him for this decision of going into this venture. And Guild would definitely support him, and whatever support it needs. We welcome an initiative taken by you, and I will personally speak to each and every member, colleague in my fraternity, that we should applaud and give you all the support that is needed for you to achieve your goal. I think that's a brilliant opportunity which you have spoken about. In terms of advertising, sharing to the exhibitor, the plan looks so fair. You know, and at the end of it, it has to be a win-win situation for it to last. And this is the only way it can last. So, thank you very much for giving this plan. I feel that this is a welcome sign for the industry. And if we have to grow, this is the way forward. We need to do it on a war footing. And I'm sure that with this initiative, a beautiful dawn is at the anvil waiting for us. Thank you.
We're probably the only country in which we play films on the e-cinema format. I think the future lies in digital. we should, as producers, as studios, bring more and more content, bring more and more of our films on the digital cinema platform. And what is required is a transparent system wherein the box office reporting comes back to us transparently, films are being played in a fair manner, and it's a win-win for everyone. The key being sunset. There is a term in our business which is called sunset, that is, you do not pay PPF. It's like paying an EMI for a car after 5 years of using the car. We cannot keep paying this EMI, so to say, forever, and thereby our cost of distribution stays higher and higher. The future is how we can bring down costs, and such initiatives will bring distribution costs down considerably. So I think it's a great initiative and completely support it. Thank you.
I represent the state of India. And let me share with you the mandate we have. India is the probably one of the lowest in terms of screen density. You know, our numbers, although we keep talking about anything between 10,000 to 12,000, and we have an example of China, where the number of screens have probably touched or crossed 55,000. Dangal, which is one of our biggest Indian films, does X amount of business in India, and the same film, being a foreign film, does 4 times more business in China as a foreign film. And it's only because of the 2 things. One is the width of distribution. They have 55,000 screens to cater to cinemas. Secondly, I think the quality of projection, where the 2K becomes extremely important, is something which we need to adapt. The challenges we have been facing over the years is how do we increase the market size. And the market size can only increase when the business becomes viable. We can't keep making films. And India makes about 2,000 films and 5%, 10%, we don't have the exact number because Neeraj talked about the transparency. We don't have a data which can tell us how many films have done, what are real numbers and how profitable they have been. But the fact is the majority of the films don't make money. And one of the reasons the films don't make money is the cost of distribution. We have a challenge. My friend is here who keeps talking about ticket pricing in India. Ticket pricing is also a function of, I think, it's a competition which is limited. Unless you have more number of screens in the country and the cinemas compete with each other, the prices will not come down. Unless we provide accessibility to the audience, the price point will always be a kind of a challenge. So coming back to the what Ranjit has talked about, and I must compliment with the kind of plan he has, is that we need quality. Hence, 2K is the minimum requirement we should look at. World market probably will be growing beyond 2K. I'm sure some of the markets have even better and higher technology. At the same time, the cost for the producer, as Neeraj rightly said, that you can't keep paying EMI for perpetually for a property you have invested. So the cost of the equipment has to be taken care of. Thereafter, one can always work on a model which is more as a service provider, which is only to a logistics requirement. I mean, if you go back to the earlier days when the 35mm prints were there, and then we shifted to digital, the understanding given to us was that the cost of distribution would come down. But the fact remains that for us as producers, the cost has not come down. We still incur 25,000 rupees as the VPF charge, which is not viable to sustain for a longer period. Either the films will not do well because the cost will keep increasing. At the same time, the business will not be viable. Hence, limited investment will come in this sector, and we will remain at an average of 6 to 8% market growth year after year, which is peanuts compared to the potential this industry has. So, as Mukesh rightly said, that as Guild, we will support this to the best possible. And I've already mentioned to Ranjit that as soon as he is ready with the plan, we will take this to the industry at large and share with them. We will have more buy-in from people to work together on this, and so that we can invest in the quality, we can have more cinemas who can be converted from E to D, and business become more viable from all the stakeholders. It is a win-win for everyone. It is not that the producers would make more money here. It's all about a win-win situation for all the three important players, which is producer, distributor, and exhibitor. End of the day, let's not forget the consumer. He gets to see our expensive, well-shot film in a better technology. Let's not deprive them. Thank you.
Thank you. I welcome questions.
Mr. Thakur, what are your plans for single screen cinemas and moves to rehabilitate them in like economical?
So, I'm not distinguishing in the plan between a single screen exhibitor or a multiplex exhibitor. The cost of the equipment that we put in both scenarios are obviously the same. The VPF that we are charging the production, and for the time period is of course the same. Single screens would be able to get an opportunity to play Hollywood content, have better quality on screen, eventually have a better experience for their consumers. We understand that ticket costs are a challenge for single screens, but at the end of the day, if they want to stay in business, they have to keep up pace with today's times of technology, the representation that they have on screen, and satisfy the consumer with the best cinematic experience that they could potentially get. With the equipment being the same that we are giving to them, it's the same experience that he would get in A scenario versus B scenario. I mean, look at, I have in the audience Sameer Joshi, the owner of Chandan. The experience at Chandan Cinema from a projection sound perspective is exactly the same that he has, like that we have next door in the PVR. That's the position that you want to get every single screen up right up there. And this is primarily a plan to upgrade the single screens from non-DCI, convert them to DCI, and help them participate in the overall business and the overall digital gamut that digital cinema provides for all stakeholders.
The recent multiplex controversies, do you have any opinion on that?
No, I actually don't have an opinion. I'd like to stay out of the custom matter.
I'd like to ask a question, Mr.
This is a wrong platform to ask a question. We are mixing the issues. We should stick to this path-breaking initiative taken by Mr. Rajeev about creating a new way of increasing 2K DCI compliance in more cinemas for growth. Let's not get into the other issue, which is this is not a platform for that.
Do you feel that this VFX Hollywood cinema will compete with Bollywood in a great way?
See, it is going to be path-breaking because you are talking about the standards set up by Hollywood studios for the DCI compliance, and that is what we want to take it forward. The quality of projection in our country, unfortunately, is not according to the world standards. We are making films which are, I can today say that our quality of technicians are brilliant, and we are making top-class films in terms of its quality content is concerned. But we don't have the right exhibition art for our projections to be done on international standards. So this is what is the need of the hour, and I feel with having this 2K compliance, we will achieve what the world has been delivering to the consumers for years. Unfortunately, our consumers, as Kulbir rightly pointed out, the quality of enjoying the movie-going experience in our country, unfortunately, is not as much as it is desired to be. And with this coming in, it will make one hell of a difference. I can assure you that.
Yeah, the entire solution, projector, server, all combined.
Do you have anything on the upgrade to speeds?
No, I think the Samsung Onyx, ironically, PVR just made a press release today for their first Samsung kit. It's right up there. It has limitation of screen size. It's a brilliant experience on screen in terms of visual. It's very, very expensive. We're talking of 2K systems here, which are obviously less than 1/10 of the cost of the Onyx. So that's not going to be for mass market. That's not something what we're here to deploy. We will deploy the standard 2K or 4K system. Yes, absolutely.
I have one question. 15 or 12 years ago, when I was consulting to members, I distributed Glamour for Mukesh Bhatt along with Rajesh Tadaki. And that was one of the first times that we had gone digital. We had gone, Rajesh and me, to the Central Plaza to see UFO's projection of Glamour. And we were quite amazed that there was no film, there was no projector, it was just the server. At that time we were told by the Central Plaza people that half has to be paid by the distributor, the other half is paid by the exhibitor. It's 250 rupees per show. And as the cost of the equipment is recouped, we will have to stop paying that, finally. Which we thought was one of the most brilliant things, that from that day to 25,000 rupees per screen, and I'm asking this for the education of people in the press who don't know the backstory. How did, instead of it becoming free at some point, did it go from 300 rupees per show to 22,000 rupees? Anyway.
So I think, yeah, this is the big mystery, and that is where sunset becomes key. You know, as studios, we keep making films, you know, producers like this apart.
2K और 4K में ये फर्क है कि 2K means 2 million pixels on screen and 4K means 4 million pixels on screen. So when you see 4K, you will see a better image provided the content is mastered in 4K. So if you have like आपके घर पे TV होगा जो 2K है, लेकिन आप 1080p content feed करोगे तो आपको 2K का resolution नहीं दिखाई देगा because your source file is in an inferior format. So you can't enhance the source file. If the source file अगर common रहता है 4K with 4K, आजकल Netflix, Amazon Prime has a lot of 4K content, which you see in a 4K TV, you'll actually make out the skin tone, the pixelation. There's a huge difference between a 2K and 4K presentation.
लेकिन मैं यही कहना चाहूँगा कि आज हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट 2K की है. आज एक 2K स्क्रीन्स अगर हमारे स्टार्ट हो जाते हैं और 2K प्रोजेक्शन सिस्टम शुरू हो जाते हैं, that itself is a big achievement. Because हम फिलहाल जो फिल्में चल रही हैं हमारी कुछ थिएटर्स में, वो 2K नहीं है. जैसे इनका सवाल था कि हॉलीवुड की फिल्में हिंदी, तमिल, तेलुगु में डब होती है, लेकिन ये फिल्में सिर्फ 2K में चलती हैं. तो आज की तारीख में अगर किसी तमिल एग्जिबिटर, जो तमिल फिल्में चलाता है एग्जिबिटर, और गैप वीक है, जिसके अंदर उसके 2 हफ्ते खाली रहने में, और कोई बड़ी हॉलीवुड की फिल्म आ रही है जो तमिल में चला सकता है, जो ऑडियंस को देखनी भी है, लेकिन जस्ट बिकॉज उसके पास 2K प्रोजेक्टर नहीं है, वो फिल्म वहाँ नहीं चलती. क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न है. ऐसे नहीं कि देयर इज अ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कि हमको ये फिल्म नहीं चला. 2K एक लॉक फाइल होती है, उसको आप खोल नहीं सकते. इस वजह से वो फिल्म वहाँ नहीं लगती है, और 2 वीक के अंदर वो फिर कोई पुरानी फिल्म चलाता है, गैप फिल्म चलाता है. बट अगर ये 2K प्रोजेक्टर्स लग जाते हैं तो वो एग्जिबिटर के पास ऑप्शन होगा जिसके अंदर वो हिंदी, तमिल, तेलुगु के अंदर जो हॉलीवुड की फिल्में हैं वो भी चला सकते हैं. तो बेसिकली इसके अंदर मार्केट ग्रो होगा, एग्जिबिटर को बेनिफिट आता है.
No questions?
Earlier this year, the Tamil Producers Council went up in arms to protest against, bring down the cost of the GPF. Is the Producers Guild of India, and especially the Bollywood industry, even considering something when things get serious?
See, the idea is not to go up in arms and all. I think that's a very primitive way of thinking, very regressive way of thinking. We need to evolve. Then going up in arms and fighting, there is no good solution which can come out of any kind of a fight or any kind of a confrontation. I am not a guy who believes in confrontation for the sake of confrontation. What is important is for us, like what Ranjit rightly said, is that how we understand the pain of each other. The integrator understands the need of the exhibitor and saying that 30% each team will 70% should go to the exhibitor for the ad revenue, which is quite a sizable sum of money. This mindset, which unfortunately we were not having in the past needs to change. Because the integrator has to understand that if the production sector is healthy, the distribution sector and the exhibition sector is healthy, so will he be. We have to look after each other's interests for our own interests. This is such a simple thing, but unfortunately, in our country, we have such a big problem to understand the basics. We are all the time in the grab mentality, and our mindset is only me, I, myself. We don't go beyond that. I've been screaming my lungs out when I was the president about these same issues. When I talk to the distributors, or when I talk to the multiplex people, or talk to the single screen theatre owners, to my producer brothers in my own production sector, we need to understand, we have to listen, we have to have compassion for each other's issues. We have to look at the entire business holistically. And then only there will be a solution, and then only will be a growth. If your growth is my growth, by going arm against each other, is not going to be resulting in any growth. It's only going to harm us further. So I understand the unity in which they function, but I don't agree to that style of functioning. I feel that if you have an enemy, don't fight the enemy, convert the enemy. I believe in conversion more than fighting, because that's the way forward, and that is what the father of the nation, Gandhiji, taught us. Let us follow his principles, and we will be happy in that.
Ranjit, would you like to sum up?
I thank you for all the support on the plan, each one of you, and all the producer, distributors, and exhibitor calls that I received over the last few days. I think clearly, there is an option now for an exhibitor to decide what he wants to do. Really, water will find its own path. And yes, I understand that, a lot of the exhibitors are contracted with existing integrators in some shape or form. My intent is not to incentivize them to breach contracts or to do anything different, but I'm sure over a period of time, everybody will learn to do what is best for their business. And that's really what we have on the table. We say this is what it is, there is no compulsion, there is, we're not doing anything, that incentivizes somebody to work with us above and beyond business ethics that we have a plan. We think it satisfies all the gamuts of the industry. We're taking care of all stakeholders and ensuring that the benefit is passed on more or less equally to everybody. Look, the transition presented us and the industry with an opportunity to save costs and increase revenue, which was very obvious. Think of it like a large pizza that everyone has a slice of and needs to share. Everybody needs to get its own due right. And if we are able to deliver that to the industry, I think it helps them save costs, get a better presentation experience on screen. And it's a win-win scenario for, as Mukesh said, for everybody. This would be our endeavor going forward.
Thank you all. It was a great pleasure to hear you. And as a producer, special thanks to all of you, because as long as you guys are there in the guild, I feel safe. Thank you very much. Thank you, and you can do one-to-one questions with them. You can have a cup of coffee or a sandwich. Enjoy yourself. Thank you very much. Yes, photo op.
I think the support was excellent from all the Producers Guild and the exhibitors. Our goal is to set up an equilibrium digital cinema platform in India that will benefit all stakeholders in the business. We covered points which will benefit the producer. He would pay a digital fee or a virtual print fee only for a fixed period of time, after which he will not be required to pay a fee for the lifetime use of the equipment and for that location. The DCI compliant footprint and the increase of 2K screens in India will help Hollywood get a better footprint and be able to exploit the whole Indian exhibition sector, which it cannot do today because only 1/3 of the screens are DCI compliant. From the exhibition side, lots of opportunities where they will be able to finally own the DCI compliant projector, which is not being done today. The ongoing advertisement revenue that's being presented by digital cinema, so to say, is ever growing. We would act as a consolidative advertisement and pass on almost 70% of that revenue back to the exhibitor, beyond which he is not liable to pay this to anybody in the industry. The stakeholders, as an integrator standpoint, we think we have a very fair, equitable plan where we have a certain profit inbuilt after the cost of funds, overhead costs, which we will retain for ourselves through the entire plan. But at the end of the day, once we get out, my vision is to see every cinema in the country have 2K DCI compliant as the base standard of the exhibition platform in the country. We have a VPF end date that we are discussing currently, which is 31st December 2024. The sooner we convert screens, the more profitable it would be, the more advantageous it would be for everybody. The challenges are that there are about 8,000 non-DCI screens that we are potentially looking to convert in the country. Those all screens are contracted with some of the integrator. We don't know what are those lock-in periods, what are the terms of this contract. I think that's something for the exhibitor to look at himself. We are just here to present the plan, what is best for the industry, and hopefully they will see the value and benefit and move to us.
About the new concept as such, how it's going to benefit the cinema industry and the growth of the cinema industry at large. So how get in a thought in that regard?
See, it's important that everyone in the value chain, right from the producer up to the exhibitor, they get the fair share of revenues. Distribution is a huge cost to producers. That's only because of two reasons. One, that we have been paying VPF for perpetuity. There is no end date for a VPF payment. With what has been announced today by Ranjit Thakur, talks about sunset as an option which is popular worldwide, and it is used in every country. At the same time, we wanted to upgrade our cinema halls. Cinema halls which are e-cinemas should move up to D-cinema as a concept, which is a 2K technology, so that consumer or the audience get to experience our films in a better quality, and there is a less chance of leakages or piracy as we keep talking about. So I'm glad that this initiative has taken place, and as Producers Guild of India, we are supporting this change, and I hope it works very well, and everyone in the value chain is convinced to take this forward.
How it's going to help in the development of the technology in Indian cinema, and what is about the concept as it?
See, what is important, first of all, what Neeraj rightly said is that the biggest issue for a film producer is what? Piracy. It's a living nightmare for me as a filmmaker. I make a film with so much of blood, sweat and tears, and then I see my film getting pirated in broad daylight. My heart bleeds, and there's nothing I can do. That's how vulnerable I feel in this country of ours, which is quite sad. With the DCI compliance, you are definitely going to do a lot of good to yourself and to the industry's health in general. And also the experience of seeing, we take so much of effort. Our technicians have become today world-class technicians. We are working with top-grade quality filmmakers. But the projection, unfortunately, because of the non-DCI compliance, is not up to the mark. The standard is far from what you aspire it to reach. With that, even your moving-going experience for the consumer, you'll get value for money. It's very important. It's not only just looking at your own pocket. Me as a producer, yes, for me piracy is an issue. Definitely the exhibitor has it. But also you have to look at the end consumer. His experience. Is he getting worth for the value of ticket? I don't think so. So give him a good projection. Give him a nice 2K projection which he can really relish. Why should he go only to a multiplex for that? Why can't he get that in a single screen theater too? So we need to uplift. We need to come to the basic requirement. The world has reached the minimum required world standard of 2K. At least see to it in our country. Everywhere in the world it has become that. We are unfortunately lacking, but better late than never. There's a break of a new dawn. I welcome this initiative taken by Mr. Ranjit Thakur, and I would give my complete support in whichever way I can. Tell all my producer brothers to give support to this initiative taken by this gentleman, because this is what we need. This is what is going to do a lot of good to the growth of the industry in totality.
And so Vishesh film always come with surprise as such. So what's the next surprise from the Vishesh film production?
No, well, this is not a platform for that. So,
no, I think absolutely what he says is exactly what we want to accomplish and what we are here for. I think at the end of the day, we want 2K DCI compliance to be the base standard in India. It eliminates piracy. It has a lot of larger footprint for Hollywood, even for domestic, for local content, to be able to release unanimously on a single day release across all country at the same quality that the filmmaker intended for the consumer to see the movie I think is a dream come true, and hopefully with all the support of Mukesh ji and the industry, we will accomplish that very soon.
So मेरा सिर्फ यही कहना है कि जैसे इन्होंने कहा, इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि जिस टाइप की फिल्म एक प्रोड्यूसर बनाना चाहता है, जिस हिसाब से हमारे पास टेक्नीशियंस हैं, वो एफर्ट जब बड़े पर्दे पे दिखेगा तो एक एक्सपीरियंस अलग होगा, बेहतर होगा. इस इनिशिएटिव का यही मेन मुद्दा है कि लेट्स इम्प्रूव द प्रोजेक्शन सिस्टम्स इन द कंट्री. लेट्स हैव अ सॉर्ट ऑफ एन एंट्री पॉइंट ऑफ 2K being the preferred format of exhibiting films and consuming films.
By the growing media and president supporting the initiative as such. So, technology is still at a large, in the Western countries, but India lacking the technology.
नहीं, टेक्नोलॉजी की बात नहीं है. बात यह है कि रंजीत ठाकुर वो आदमी है जिसने स्क्रैबल जैसी कंपनी इंडिया को दी. उसके बाद उन्होंने स्क्रैबल यूएफओ को दे दिया, और अब ये एक्चुअली जैसे मेरे दिमाग में मैं कहता हूँ स्क्रैबल 2 कर रहे हैं. लेकिन इसमें एक चीज़ मुझे बहुत क्लियर नज़र आ रही है कि चीज़ें और सस्ती हो जाएंगी. जहाँ हम वर्चुअल प्रिंट फी VPF 22,000 प्लस GST भरते हैं, शायद वो समय बीतते ही कम हो जाके एक, जैसे कि नीरज जी ने कहा, 2022-2024 में वो VFX बिल्कुल फ्री हो जाएगी. अब जब आके एक फिल्म 5,000 सिनेमा में डाल रहे हैं और आप 22,000 पर GST भर रहे हैं, तो समझो वो प्रिंट का ही कॉस्ट 3 करोड़ हो गया. मैं तो 3 पिक्चरें 3 करोड़ में बना दूँ, प्रिंट का कॉस्ट व्यू नहीं, डायरेक्टली अमेजोन को दे दूँ. तो दिस एक्सपेंस इज एक्चुअली डिस्ट्रॉइंग सिनेमा. काफ़ी प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं जो 5,000 स्क्रीन अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि 22,000 एक स्क्रीन का देना पड़ता है, उसके ऊपर एडवर्टाइजिंग होता है, उसके बाद स्टैंडी होता है, ट्रेलर होता है, होर्डिंग होता है. इट्स नॉट अफोर्डेबल. तो जैसे जब मैंने रफ बुक बनाई, आई सेड आई डोंट वांट टू कम टू सिनेमा. मैं डायरेक्ट अमेजोन में गया, मैं स्कूल्स में चलाया. तो ये एक स्थिति है कि अगर चीज़ें सस्ती हो जाएंगी तो पिक्चरों का बिजनेस बढ़ेगा. पिक्चरों का बिजनेस बढ़ेगा तो वो फ़ायदा प्रोड्यूसर को मिलेगा. प्रोड्यूसर सर्वाइव होके सस्टेन करेगा तो फिर पूरी इंडस्ट्री सस्टेन करेगी. तो दिस इज अ वेरी गुड थिंग दैट दे आर डूइंग. आई होप दे डू इट फास्ट एंड आई होप दे डू इट वेल.
But there is a lot of competition with the producers when 2 big people coming together on same day. So वो बात ज़्यादा.
सर, मैं एक अलग ज़माने में हूँ जब 1970s में ग्रांट रोड में 26 सिनेमा हुआ करते थे. रॉक्सी, ओपेरा हाउस, सेंट्रल प्लाजा, ड्रीमलैंड, स्वास्तिक, नाज, इंपीरियल, नोवेल्टी, अप्सरा, मिनर्वा, गंगा, जमुना, दौलत, डायना, सुपर, शालीमार, अल्फ्रेड, गुलशन, न्यू रोशन, ताज, मोती, सिल्वर, अलंकार. और 22 के 22 सिनेमा, 26 के 26 सिनेमा में 26 पिक्चर चलती थी. सब पिक्चर हिट होती थी. रॉक्सी में आराधना, तो ओपेरा हाउस में 2 रास्ते, तो शालीमार में रोटी, तो सुपर में जख्मी, नॉवेल्टी में जुर्माना, रफू चक्कर, अप्सरा में दीवार, मिनर्वा में. आई हैव सीन ऑल दीस मूवीज. उस वक्त तो सब पिक्चरें हिट होती थी और एक सिनेमा में चलती थी. अब हर जगह मल्टीप्लेक्स हो गई है कि अगर वो 22 के 22 सिनेमा आज थे तो वो एक पिक्चर चलाएंगे. वेयर इज द शॉर्टेज? इट इज अ लैक ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ब्रेन्स. आज अगर आप एक पिक्चर को आइनॉक्स नैरोबैंड पॉइंट में 6 शो चलाते हैं, तो फिर बगल में मेट्रो में 6 शो चलाते हैं, और फिर स्टर्लिंग जाते हैं जहाँ पे आप 6 शो चलाते हैं, स्टर्लिंग के बगल में न्यू एक्सेलसियर है, वर्चुअली दिस बार वहाँ भी 6 शो चलाएंगे, पीछे लिबर्टी में भी 8 शो चलाएंगे, मेट्रो में भी 5 शो चलाएंगे, तो यू आर सी पीपल विल सी फिल्म इन देयर ओन टाइम, नो? तो इंस्टेड ऑफ playing the films all in 1 week in all the cinemas, you'd rather play half the cinemas but run the second week and the third week. It is just a question of planning. Instead of taking Metro and Inox and Sterling, which are 3 multiplexes in South Bombay, plus Regal, plus Liberty, plus New Excelsior, plus Roxy, plus Dreamland, plus Alankar, plus Maratha Mandir, plus Central Plaza. 11 सिनेमा ले रहे हो एक जगह, क्यों? 2 सिनेमा, 6 हफ्ते चलेगी आप। अब ये स्थिति है कि मैंने पिक्चर 1 हफ्ते में देख ली, दूसरी वाली पिक्चर जो थी नहीं देख पाया क्योंकि इतने पैसे जेब में होते नहीं है, अगले हफ्ते जब वापस गए तो वो सिनेमा से उड़ गई। Then we are blaming the cinema? No, it is bad distribution planning. There is nothing. जब राजश्री ने हम आपके है कौन पिक्चर बनाई, ऑल इंडिया 1 लिबर्टी में रिलीज की, all India 1 cinema. Second week they opened second cinema, that was Chanakya in Delhi. Third week they opened 1 cinema, that was Raj Mandir in Jaipur. Fourth week they opened 1 cinema, which was Elite in Kolkata. Fifth cinema they opened was Rameshwari 70mm in Hyderabad. करते करते पिक्चर 3 साल चली है. At that time when there were no multiplexes, nobody was saying there's a shortage of cinemas. Today when there are 10,000 new screens in the last 3 years, people are saying there's a shortage of cinema. I'm saying it is rubbish. But allow me as a producer, allow me as a man who has made the movie, allow me as the man who has had faith in the movie, allow me as the man who has written the story and done the casting. Allow me to choose the cinemas for my film. Allow me to choose the ticket rate for that film, because I have made the film. I know better who's going to see it and what they can afford. Allow me to choose the number of shows and the number of screens and the ticket prices. I will know how to make my film a hit. तुम लोग मेरे बच्चे को ही मेरे जेब मतलब गोद से निकाल के बोलते हो अब इसको यहाँ चलाएंगे, उसको इस प्राइस में चलाएंगे, उसको बाहर डालेंगे. You all have never seen the film. You all have never heard the film. I am the mother. I have lived with the baby for 9 months. No. You are not allowing me to make a decision. मैं रफ बुक बना रहा हूँ, 300 रुपए वाली टिकट में नहीं चलेगी, तो मेरी पीछे 150 में चलाओ, थग्स ऑफ हिंदुस्तान 1000 में चलाओ. डिफरेंट मारुति और मर्सिडीज आप एक ही प्राइस पे डालेंगे शोरूम में, तो लोग क्या खरीदेंगे? इसका मतलब है कि मारुति should have no chance. Then we should all stop making movies. So there is a big problem in the distribution monopolies and in the lack of strategy. अगर वो हम करेक्ट करेंगे, everything will be solved.